video, and in today's video, I'll be doing a 2024 election prediction between Rashida Tlaib and Ron DeSantis. I'm gonna go get started by living all of Tlaib's safe states: Washington, Oregon, California, Hawaii, DC, Maryland, Massachusetts, and Vermont. DeSantis gets Utah, Idaho, Wyoming, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Nebraska is at-large 1st and 3rd districts. Kansas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, Indiana, Ohio, West Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, in South Carolina. For Tlaib's likely states, she gets Colorado, New York is safe, Maine's first, and Illinois. In Colorado, she's going to do pretty poor with white rural voters, whereas DeSantis will actually do pretty well. And she's also going to struggle with the Hispanic Latino vote. She also gets Delaware, New Jersey, Connecticut, Rhode Island. Delaware, Hillary Clinton carried a lot of these likely. And I see, Tlaib being weaker than Clinton against a stronger candidate. But also in, a lot of these northeastern states, particularly New England states, actually, I guess Connecticut and Rhode Island in particular right here, I see her doing worse with white rural college-educated voters. In New Jersey, I see her doing worse, in the suburbs. In Maine's first, she's going to do overall, she's going to do worse. In New England, I see her doing worse with white rural college-educated voters, so she's probably going to struggle in Maine's first. Illinois, DeSantis is going to get enough rural turnout, and she's going to struggle enough with the black vote that she'll only lose it likely. For DeSantis, those likely states, he gets Texas, Iowa, Maine second, North Carolina, Florida, and Alaska. In Iowa, she's going to be so weak with rural voters that DeSantis will carry it likely. I don't see her being weak enough, though, that he does carry it safe. I don't see DeSantis being strong enough with the rural voters that she carries it safe. In Ohio, I do give it to DeSantis safe, but basically, considering the fact that it's very much like Iowa, except for with a larger share of black voters in the electorate, in the suburbs. I'm not quite certain how much of a share of the suburbs, or how large of a share of the electorate the suburbs in Iowa have, but I would think less than Ohio. The fact that even with these more left-leaning demographics, not that suburban voters in Ohio vote for Democrats, or typically, it is more left-leaning than the rural vote. But the fact that it's so far to the right, the fact that those demographics are keeping it as liberal as it is, which is still pretty conservative, when Tlaib is terrible for those demographics, I see it being safe. In Texas, DeSantis is going to do well enough with white rural voters. Tlaib is going to struggle in the suburbs and struggle with the Hispanic Latino vote. Whereas RDS, I've discussed his suburban strength. I think he's fairly similar with Hispanic Latino voters, but he is still overall going to be decent enough. In Florida, it's his home state. He's wildly popular there. It's going to be likely, at least. It could possibly be safe. North Carolina, he's going to do decent with the rural voters and do decent with the working class, especially against someone like Tlaib. Whereas Tlaib is going to struggle with the black vote and struggle in the suburbs. In Alaska, I see RDS doing better with oil workers, but I see Tlaib getting enough Native American turnout to the point where it is still likely. For Tlaib's lean states, she gets New Mexico, Virginia, and Maine at large. New Mexico, she's going to do worse with the rural voters, do worse with the working class, and do worse with the Hispanic Latino vote. And RDS is going to have enough rural appeal, enough working class appeal, and enough Hispanic Latino appeal. In Virginia, she's going to do decent in DC suburbs, but she's going to, really struggle with the black vote. And RDS is going to do well enough with the rural vote. I think UAP was talking about, in one prediction about, at least one, about how RDS can retain the Trump rural appeal, which I find unrealistic. I don't see him retaining as much rural appeal as Trump. I see him having a lot, but I don't see it being Trump levels. But still, I see it being enough to narrow Virginia down to a lean. Maine at large, she's going to do worse with the white rural college educated vote. especially in someone like DeSantis, who is one of the stronger Republicans, I would say, especially probably the strongest Trumpian Republican for white rural college educated voters. For RDS's lean states, he gets Arizona, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Georgia. In Arizona, he's going to do well enough in the traditionally conservative suburbs, and Tlaib is going to struggle enough with with Hispanic and Latino voters to the point where RDS will probably carry it. Georgia, she's going to struggle with the black vote. RDS is going to pretty well with the rural vote to the point where it could actually be likely. Pennsylvania and Michigan. Michigan going to be more liberal than Pennsylvania. RDS is going to do decent with the rural vote, do decent with the working class. Tlaib is going to really struggle with the working class and really struggle with the black vote and struggle in the suburbs. And then the final states, the tilt states. Tlaib's tilt states are New Hampshire. Oh, by the way, Wisconsin is likely, actually. It's fairly similar thing to these two, except for more conservative. Or Pennsylvania, Michigan. It's fairly similar to them, except for it's more conservative. But every other state is tilt to RDS that I hadn't already labeled by the point when I had said that. New Hampshire, it honestly could go to RDS. I see Tlaib having just enough white rural college educated appeal that she carries it by like 1,000 votes or something. It easily could go to RDS. It's not outside the realm of possibility, honestly, that he carries it by a lean margin. In fact, I see him having enough appeal that he does carry it. Not by a lean margin, but I'm going to give it to him tilt. At least, honestly, it could be lean. It's not outside the realm of possibility. In Nevada, Tlaib is going to struggle with white rural voters. RDS has enough appeal to Hispanic and Latino voters, and it's going to do pretty well with rural voters. Tlaib is going to struggle with the Hispanic and Latino vote. I was about to say once again, I'm not certain if I've already said that for Nevada. Minnesota, RDS is going to do decent enough with the working class, do decent enough with the rural vote. Tlaib is going to struggle enough with in the suburbs, and I could see her doing decent in Minneapolis, keeping it tilt, but it will probably tilt go to DeSantis either way. Nebraska's second. DeSantis is going to have enough suburban appeal. I could see it going to Tlaib. I've discussed DeSantis not having much suburban appeal in the past, but I think that in a scenario like this, it probably does nearly go to DeSantis. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like below. Stay tuned for my next video tomorrow. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Please comment your suggestions down below, and I'll see you all in tomorrow's video. Bye!